Ion had learned to recognize silence. Not the peaceful kind, but the heavy kind that follows you into rooms and sits beside you even when the lights are on. Apartment 402 had been silent for 3 years now. Same walls, same balcony, same routine. Wake up, tea, city noise below, life moving without him. That morning was supposed to be the same. Until he heard the sound of suitcases scraping against the floor. Ion looked up from his cup. Someone was moving into the apartment next door. Apartment 403 had been empty for months. People came and went in this building, but no one ever stayed long enough to matter. He didn't care. At least, that's what he told himself. When he stepped into the corridor to throw away trash, he saw her. She was struggling with a large suitcase, clearly tired, her hair loosely tied, frustration written all over her face. The suitcase slipped and fell sideways. She closed her eyes for a second, like she was holding back something bigger than anger. Need help? Ion asked without thinking. She looked up, surprised, then nodded. Yes, please. He lifted the suitcase and carried it inside her apartment. I'm Ion. Next door. Zara, she replied. I just moved today. The apartment smelled new, but empty. Boxes everywhere. A life paused mid-sentence. Thank you, she said softly. Everything feels heavy today. First day always does, he replied. Second day hurts less. She looked at him, curious, but didn't ask anything more. That evening, there was a knock on his door. Zara stood there holding 2 cups of tea. I made extra, she said awkwardly. Didn't want to drink alone. He stepped aside. They sat on the balcony, city lights below them. Silence stretched, but it didn't feel uncomfortable. I moved here to disappear, Zara said suddenly. Ion turned toward her. After my father died, she continued, home stopped feeling safe. Ion nodded slowly. My mother left when I was 16. Some absences hurt more than death. She didn't say sorry. She just listened. For the first time in years, Ion felt understood without explanation. That night, both lay awake in separate apartments, thinking about the same thing. A stranger who didn't feel like one. The sound of rain woke Ion earlier than usual. It wasn't loud, just steady, tapping against the balcony railing like a reminder that the world was still moving. He checked the time. 6:10 a.m. Too early to think, yet his mind was already awake. Zara. He didn't like how easily her name surfaced. He had met her just yesterday. She was a neighbor. Nothing more. And yet, the silence of the apartment felt different now, like it was waiting for something. He made tea and stepped out onto the balcony. The city looked softer under the rain. Slower. Forgiving. Then he noticed movement next door. Zara stood on her balcony, wrapped in a light shawl, holding her cup with both hands. Her eyes were closed, face turned toward the sky, letting the rain-cooled air touch her skin. She opened her eyes and noticed him. Oh, good morning, she said. Morning, Ion replied. Rain doesn't let anyone sleep. She smiled faintly. I don't mind. It makes everything quiet. They stood there for a moment, not talking, just sharing the sound of rain. Do you know any place nearby for breakfast? Zara asked. I don't feel like eating alone today. Ion nodded. There's a small cafe. Not fancy, but honest food. Honest sounds good. They walked together under one umbrella. Their shoulders brushed occasionally, neither stepping away nor closer. So, what do you do? Zara asked. Ion took a breath. I used to work in marketing. Quit 6 months ago. Because? She asked, not pushing, just curious. Because waking up every day felt heavy, he said. And no job is worth that. She nodded. I understand. I'm a school counselor, she said. Or I was. I took a transfer. Why? She slowed her steps. I started carrying everyone's pain home. My own was already too much. They didn't talk for the rest of the walk. The cafe was quiet. Only a few people sat inside. The owner nodded at Ion like he recognized him. You come here often, Zara noticed. When I don't want to feel alone, he replied. They sat by the window, rain sliding down the glass. For a while, they talked about small things. Childhood memories, old songs, movies that once made sense and now felt distant. Then Zara grew quiet. I was engaged, she said suddenly. Ion looked up. 5 years, she continued. We were planning everything. And then my father passed away. She swallowed. He said he needed peace. He left when I needed him the most. Her voice didn't break. That scared Ion more than tears would have. My last relationship ended because she said I didn't feel things deeply, Ion said. She wasn't wrong. I learned early not to depend on anyone. Zara looked at him, eyes soft. Do you ever feel, she asked, like you're always strong for others, but no one stays strong for you? Ion nodded. All the time. Back at the building, they stood outside their doors. Thank you for breakfast, Zara said. And for listening. Before she could unlock her door, her hands began to shake. I thought moving here would fix everything, she whispered. But I still feel broken. Tears filled her eyes, then spilled. I'm tired of pretending I'm okay. Ion stepped closer. You don't have to pretend here, he said quietly. She broke down then, crying the kind of tears that come after holding everything in for too long. Ion gently placed his hand on her shoulder. You're safe, he said. It's okay to fall apart. She leaned against him, not for comfort, but for balance. Later, they sat on the stairs, drained. I'm sorry, Zara said. You didn't sign up for this. I did, Ion replied. The moment I listened, she smiled weakly. Can we stay friends? She asked. Just honesty. No expectations. Ion nodded. But if feelings come, we don't run. She hesitated, then nodded. Deal. That night, Zara texted him. Thank you for today. He replied. You're not alone here. 2 days. Just 2 days. And something neither of them expected had quietly begun. Days passed, and what started as a quiet agreement slowly became something neither of them could ignore. Ion and Zara didn't announce anything. They didn't define anything. They simply existed in each other's presence. Morning greetings on the balcony. Short messages during the day. Evening tea that somehow stretched into hours of conversation. They laughed more than they expected to. Ion noticed he was sleeping better. Zara noticed she wasn't afraid of silence anymore. Still, there was caution. Both carried past wounds, and neither wanted to be the first to bleed again. One evening, Zara came home later than usual. Ion was sitting on the balcony when he heard footsteps and unfamiliar laughter in the corridor. He looked up just as Zara reached her door, smiling, talking to a man walking beside her. The man waved politely and left. Zara noticed Ion. Oh hey, she said casually. Long day. He nodded. You're late. School dinner, she replied. New colleagues. That guy? Ion asked before he could stop himself. She looked at him for a second, then smiled lightly. Samir. Just a coworker. Ion forced a smile back, but something tightened inside his chest. That night, he couldn't sleep. He told himself it was none of his business. They were friends. That was the deal. But his mind kept replaying the sound of her laughter, the ease with which she spoke to someone else. He hated the feeling. Not because of her, because of himself. Over the next few days, he pulled away without meaning to. Short replies. Fewer conversations. No shared tea. Zara felt it immediately. She stood outside his door one evening, knocked, and waited. When Ion opened the door, she didn't smile. You're avoiding me, she said calmly. I just needed space, he replied. From me? Yes. She nodded slowly, as if bracing herself. Okay, she said. I just wanted to understand. She turned to leave, and that's when it hit him. The thought of her walking away, of that quiet connection disappearing, scared him more than any past heartbreak. That night, Ion sat alone, staring at the same ceiling he had stared at for years. But this time, the silence felt different. Empty. He realized something he had been afraid to admit. He didn't just care. He had fallen. The next evening, rain returned, just like it had on their second day. Zara stood on her balcony, arms folded, lost in thought. Ion, he called softly. She turned. I owe you honesty, he said. I pulled away because I was scared. Not of you, but of how much you matter to me. She didn't speak. I realized I was jealous, he continued. And instead of admitting it, I tried to protect myself. Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't look away. I don't want to lose you, he said. Even if loving you scares me. Zara took a step closer. I was scared too, she said quietly. After my engagement ended, I promised myself I'd never let anyone get that close again. She swallowed. But then you listened. You stayed. And somehow, without trying, you became home. Rain soaked the balcony floor as they stood there, hearts exposed. I don't want perfection, Zara said. I just want honesty. You have it, Ion replied. All of it. They didn't kiss that night. They didn't rush. They just stood together, letting the rain witness what words finally had. Love didn't arrive loudly. It settled in gently. Weeks turned into months. They cooked together, walked together, sat in silence together. When one had a bad day, the other didn't try to fix it, only stayed. Ion started freelancing again, slowly rebuilding confidence. Zara laughed more freely, her eyes lighter than before. One night, sitting on the same stairs where she once cried uncontrollably, Zara leaned her head back and sighed. You know, she said softly, you feel like home. Ion smiled. So do you. A year passed. Life wasn't perfect, but it was honest. One evening, Ion asked Zara to step onto the balcony. The city lights looked the same as always, but his hands were shaking. What's going on? She asked, noticing his nervousness. I don't promise forever without effort, he said. I promise choosing you, even on hard days. He knelt, holding out a simple ring. Will you marry me? Zara's eyes filled with tears. Not pain, not fear, relief. Yes, she whispered. Yes. The wedding was small. No grand hall. No noise. Just close friends, soft lights, and two people who had learned to heal together. As Zara walked toward him, Ion realized something important. Love didn't save them. They saved each other by choosing love. Late that night, standing on the same balcony where it all began, Zara leaned against him. I moved here to disappear, she said quietly. And ended up finding everything, Ion replied. Two neighbors. Two broken pasts. One quiet love. And a forever that began with a knock next door.